Hello, everybody. Sarah Estelle here, and I'm excited to be here for the very first training in this Sacred Rising community for healing business owners. So I know I was going to run this training the other day and timing didn't work out for me, but I am here today to support you. So whether you're watching live or via the replay, I'd love you to say hello. If you know your star sign, it's strange when you look at yourself in these things because my glasses all seem a bit squint. But anyway, I'll stop looking at myself and focus on content. So what I'm going to be doing today is introducing myself a tiny bit for those of you who might not have met me before. I'm going to talk about how knowing and exploring your star sign or star signs can support you in growing your healing business. And I'm going to give you 3 pointers, and then I'm going to go through the 12 astrological archetypes and give some information to you. So I hope this is going to be really, really helpful for you. So first of all, if you've not met me before, my name is Sarah Estelle of sarahestelle.com. My passion is with the Nature Kingdom. I work very much with flower essences. In fact, I run an accredited online flower essence diploma. And I also support healers take their healing businesses forward. Now, it wasn't something that I ever thought I was going to do, but as it happens, I have a degree in marketing. And because I've built my own business and relocated to a new country 4 years ago, almost 4 years ago, solely with my business supporting me, it felt like absolutely the right thing to do to pass on some of what I have learned myself. It is absolutely possible as a healer to run a successful healing business. So successful is a bit of a funny old word for healers. I'm very, very aware of that. We often get triggered by words like success and money and all that kind of thing. And it's just time for us all to kind of transmute some of that energy and know that we don't have to buy in to the starving artist syndrome. We can be healers. We can share our gifts in very magical and sacred ways and earn enough money to pay our mortgage, our rent, to have a car, to pay for healthcare, to be able to go on holiday. We deserve all of these things. And obviously, how much money you want to bring through your business is going to be very much dependent on how big your vision. And if you've got a very big vision, and I have a very big vision to get vibrational medicine out into the world, then I'm going to need a team to support me. I can't do all of this all on my own. So we need to kind of like push out the boundaries of this Lone Ranger world that we might be in. And if we're kind of like in therapist models, it's often not helpful. So first of all, I'm going to give you the 3 things that I believe are key, and then I'm going to go through the archetypes. So what do I mean, first of all, by a magical business? Now, this is a magical business to me is not at all a business where you get out your magic wand and wave it and everything magically, clients suddenly pour through your door and pay you loads of money. That's not what I mean by a magical business. What it means to me is that when we become truly ourselves and when we embrace ourselves, and this is the scary bit, then magically, and what I mean by magically is effortlessly, because that's kind of what we mean by magic, isn't it? When something is very effortless, things start to work in ways which defy logic. We don't need to push anymore. We don't need to work as hard as we used to. Although in setting up any business, there is an element of, let's say, work. We do need to turn up and to take action. But when we align ourselves and when we truly step in to the sacred role that we agreed to take on before we came into our bodies, then what happens, and this is my experience, is that effortlessly the clients, the way to move forward, and therefore the money, the joy, the ease begin to come along with it. So the very first thing we need to do is to be aligned. So if you want to take a few notes, there's 3 very short points. So I'd love to you just to kind of like thinking to yourself, how aligned is what you are offering to you? The more you become yourself, and the more you teach or you create a business based on what you yourself have learned through your life, because that's where you can become the compassionate healer, because you truly, truly have owned your gifts and you're passing them on, the easier it's going to be. So the first step is really all around alignment, and your star sign can really help you with that alignment. So hence me mentioning that first. The second thing to really embrace is that magic is within you already. There is nothing you need to do anymore than just be yourself. There's no other piece of paper, there's no other qualification, there's no extra timing needed. All that's needed is for you to find that magic inside you and to be willing and to have the support system to start walking. So the magic is within you. You're the seed of who you are, and what you came to earth to do is in you. And it's also all around you. There is so much support around all of us, and it's often from the invisible realms. And well, and maybe not, some of them aren't even invisible realms, like the astrological signs, the star signs. We can go outside each night and connect with them, or we can connect with them even during the day. The nature kingdom is so, so supportive of who we are and what we do. And again, they're here to help us. So the magic is all around you, and it's also within you. And here's the thing about this, is that because it's already within you and around you, it's your gift, it's your strength, it's in you. You came into this body with this coding inside you. So there's nothing else you need to do apart from activate it. And basically all that means is start walking forward with it. And when we focus on our gifts, so what is already seeded inside us, then we become a kind of like a magnetic force to those around us, because we're doing what comes naturally to us. We're not pushing, we're not efforting, we are just doing naturally what we are here to do. And that's very, 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 very magical. So when we focus on what we're good at, what we're naturally good at, not what we've learned in our heads, but what we naturally hold in our coding, then everything becomes more effortless. And when we focus on what we're good at, what we are naturally encoded with, then anything that we're not particularly brilliant at, and there's going to be those aspects for all of us. Running a healing business, I'm going to keep it within that remit, but it could also relate to just general life and relationships. There will always be certain parts of things that we won't be great at, because running a business or running a life, having a relationship, having a family, all those things, they're huge undertakings. So, but here's the thing, we don't need to be actually great at all of those things. We just need to be ourselves. And when we focus on what's good and what's right and what's true and what's authentic, then what is not will tend to fade away. So that's really key for the second point. So the first one was be in alignment. And secondly, know that the magic is within you and focus on that magic. And as I talk about the star signs in a second, that's going to help you. Focus on that and not what you are less confident in. Focus on what you know is true and what you know is your gift. The third thing is that in the magical schools, we teach what we need to learn, always. So very often our challenges in life, that as healers, that we have on some level stepped up to find the strength within us and to find ways that maybe the mainstream world have not passed on to help us stand tall and keep walking in our lives in whatever way healing has happened for you and is happening for you, is what is wonderful to keep on teaching, to keep on doing, to keep on sharing. We teach what we need to know, because when we teach what we need to know, and by me sharing this with you today, you can see a little bit into what I'm working with now, because I'm very, very passionate about supporting healers take their businesses out there, because we are so needed. And as I do that, I'm also learning myself. So as we step up ourselves, we find ways to connect more magically, to find more joy, to find more connection, to find more flow. So whatever it is you need to know, teach it. Bring that into whatever the next step is of your natural progression of sharing your gifts. Offer it in some way, because you, by teaching it, by sharing it, by holding space for others to do it, you are going to learn so much about how to do that. So I know when I do Facebook Lives, our internet connection here isn't fab. So as comments come in, I'm going to pick them up as they do so, because I actually can't see any right now, but I'm not going to focus on that. So there are your 3 points. I'd love to know which one kind of like really jumps out at you. Please do share as you listen, because it's helpful for everybody. My wish is really that this does become a community where you support each other and get to know each other as healers. So what I wanted to do today was talk about how your star sign or signs can support you in growing your healing business. So a few days ago, quite intuitively, I posted up about this, and there was a great response. A lot of you seemed or shared that you found it really interesting, and I found it really interesting listening and reading your sharings. So I just thought it would be really useful to talk some more about it with you. Now, I'm not an astrologer. However, as you're going to learn as I talk, it is something that's seeded within me naturally. And anybody that know that my love of the moon, that kind of comes with it as well. So I'll talk a little bit more about that as I talk about my own star sign. So I'm going to keep this as really general here, because astrology is a huge subject, and most of us know, well, I'm assuming you all know your sun sign. So if that's all you know, that is absolutely fine. But what I do want you to know, and this is where everything changed for me, is because despite astrology kind of being seeded into my own makeup, I had always known that just knowing my sun sign, which is Aquarius, by the way, wasn't really it. I kind of saw that it was it, but it just felt like just a piece of it. And so I then, through my own learning, went on to learn with the Shamanic Astrology School. So if you enjoy hearing about what I'm talking about today, you just can go and find them. Google shamanicastrology.com. You can find them on Facebook. They share some amazing things. Now, what shamanic astrology basically teaches is that we have a team of archetypes that overlight us. And the 8, you can go as big as you want, basically, but the way that I found it the most useful is to look at the 8 planets that were visible on the day you were born. Now, I'm not going to talk about that now because it's a specialized subject. But that's really where the shift happened for me, when I began to look at the team. Now, I know some of you here, because I know some of you in here, because you work or have worked or are working with me, will know more than your sun sign. So if you know your Venus, your Mars, your Mercury, your Moon, your Ascendant, that is cool. But we're not going to worry too much about that right now. We're just going to focus on, let's start with your sun sign. And if you know more, then you'll know the significance of each of those. But that's not what I'm going to talk about. I just want to focus on the energy of the archetypes. So if you only know your sun sign, that's absolutely cool. Just start where you are at. If you know more than that, then just feel into the truth of it. So for example, if you know quite a few of your signs, and let's say 3 of them are in the fire element, that's going to be very significant for you. For example, I have a lot of signs in air, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. So just go along with it on that level. And I've just seen your comment, Louise. So you're sharing that doing what comes naturally resonated for me. What I know is true, and focusing on that. Absolutely. Yes. So that's all we need to do. And it's really that simple. Okay, so I'm going to go through the 12 archetypes quite simply. I don't want to kind of like boggle anybody's minds here. We're just having a dip in, and I'd love to know how this feels to you. I've not presented this before in this way, certainly not live, but I'm curious and wishing to be of more service here, basically. So I'm going to start off with the fire element. Now, the 12 astrological signs can be divided into the 4 elements: fire, water, earth, and air. Now, these are all the elements that make up the creation of the earth, and they're all the elements that make up our own bodies. So we are intimately connected with these. So fire, so if you have any Aries, any Leo, or any Sagittarius, this is for you. Okay, so first of all, an overview for fire signs. So if you have a lot of fire signs, or if you only just know if your sun sign is fire and that's all you know, the fire signs are ones that are good at action taking. So if you have fire signs in your astrology, then you're going to need to, you really, really want to be focusing on that ability of yours to take action. You're going to want to be a leader. You're going to want to, even if by saying this your kind of knees knock, you are naturally a leader. And so finding the ways to be that leader in your authenticity will be really helpful for you. You're not somebody who's going to sit at the back and be the sort of support worker at the back. You're the front person. Now, again, this is going to very much depend on your whole team. So please don't just kind of like get tunnel visioned about this. But if you have a sun sign, which is either Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, there's a part of you that absolutely needs this energy of leadership. You're somebody that can get stuff done. And you also have an ability, you need to be visible. So it's not always us that needs to be visible. Sometimes it's our product or our service. So if the thought of doing a video or a Facebook Live makes you want to kind of like have a duvet day for a whole year, then maybe think about how you could allow what you offer to be more visible. It doesn't always have to be you. But if you have a lot of fire, then it should be you, because you have a natural magnetism. Okay, so those are the fire ones. So Aries, you're the spiritual warriors. So any Aries people, please, when you watch this or listen to the replay, please share with us. You are the spiritual warriors. You need to be out there, kind of like, you're almost like the activists of the healing world. So you're out there in the front line doing your thing. So you're the protectors of the vulnerable. So own that in yourselves. This is your magic. This is where you come into alignment. So be that, own it, and show it. You're very courageous as well. Any Leos here? Leos, you're all about being radiant, about self-love. Again, Leo's the lion. It's going to be all about leadership. It's good about confidence. So bringing this element of self-love, self-radiance, knowing that you are always enough just as you are right now is going to be key to your healing business. And finally, Sagittarius, kind of a different fire sign. Sagittarius energy is very, very expansive. So if you have any Sagittarius in your astrology, particularly if it's Venus, Mars, sun sign, or Mercury, they're probably the key ones. You're going to want an element of freedom to your business, because if you don't have that element of freedom, you're going to feel really boxed in. So having a business that offers freedom, so working when you want to work, having that freedom of maybe being your own boss and having enough to be able to live the life, to travel, to expand, to learn. You're going to be a good teacher as well as a Sagittarian. So I'd love to know how this is resonating with you as you listen. So I'm going to go on now to the water signs, or to the water element. So these are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So if you have these as a sun sign or significantly in your chart, then time to pay attention. So an overview of the water element. This is all to do with emotions and feelings. So if you have your sun sign, your Venus, your Mars, or a lot of water elements, you're going to be wanting to work with the feeling world. So you understand emotions and feelings. So therefore you understand what it is to connect with people. You understand what it is to flow, and you understand how to nurture and be empathic. Now, equally, if you're not connecting and there's stagnancy in your life, then that's going to feel really uncomfortable for anybody with a lot of water signs. So if you have a water sign, just connecting with those words. So if you have Cancer as one of your leading signs, this is the sign. If there was any sign that was a great nurturer, it's the Cancer sign. So just be the nurturer that you are. Be the safe space that you are. Be that person for whom it's absolutely okay to want to be held, and to want to know that it's okay to feel your feelings. If you have a lot of Cancer in your chart, then you're probably going to want some kind of home-based business. Working around your family will be very, very important to you. So if you're a mother with the children, leaving them at home would be quite heartbreaking to you. So having a home-based business, which of course now we can do with online businesses, especially in working your own hours and making your family your focus, would be really, really important for you. Scorpio is another water sign. Now Scorpio again is about feeling, but it's about the power of feeling. So Scorpios go deep, 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 deep. So if you have Scorpio in your chart, allow this to be your superpower. Don't be frightened of your feelings. Because Scorpio people can be okay and then they're not okay. They go really deep. They go under the wave, and then they'll come back up again, and they'll go back down again. So it might be that there's been some kind of history of depression or something like that, something where there's maybe some shadow, dark energies. But this is your superpower, because you know how to ride these waves. Scorpios are very, very magical people. So go deep. Allow that to be part of what you do. If you have significant Scorpio, working with the shadow side of life will be kind of what you're here to do. So again, going with what I was saying at the beginning, embrace it. You're also going to be very, very intuitive. Finally, under water signs, we have Pisces. So Pisces, it's actually the star sign that we are in right now. So Pisces is the biggest, most beautiful compassionate, loving energy of all the archetypes. So it's the Pisceans that dream in the new world. They are, if you have significant Pisces energy, then you are here to be of service. So knowing that is key for you, that you are just here to love, you are here to heal, and you are here to do it in gentle, compassionate, nurturing ways. What is important for Pisces people, because you do have such giving energy, your boundaries are going to need to be, in fact, it's kind of like this for all of the water elements, because you're kind of quite porous and flowing. Your boundaries will need to be particularly, you need to be careful with your boundaries, particularly for Pisces, because if you give, then there's nothing left for you. And that can be quite damaging in a long-term life or business. So again, I'd love to hear how this resonates for you as you listen. Again, I don't see the comments going through, go past, I'll catch them later. So I'm going to go on now to Earth. So Earth elements are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So let's give an overview of the earth elements, and each of the elements you'll see has got very different energy. So if you have significant earth archetypes in your astrology, you're going to be good at building things. So just because you do have this physical nature seeded into your being, you're going to be quite good at structure and order. So this sometimes comes to surprise to people when they hear this. But remember, let's just say you have a Taurus sun sign. That's just an example. It's not just about your sun sign. It is about the whole team, which is where something like sacred shamanic astrology can be so very, very helpful. But yes, structure and order. You're going to be good at this. And even if you don't feel that you're good at it, it's really, really important to you. So having a business that doesn't have structure and order would be very, very destabilizing for somebody with a lot of earth in their archetypes. You're going to understand what it means to go from step by step. So if we're here and we want to be here, that you know that just leaping in a big leap is going to be difficult for you. So you're going to want to go into steps. So that would be very, very key for you as well, just understanding that. And just being grounded and anchored is key for any earth types. And you're probably, and I picked this up in the comments when I shared about this the other day and asked you about your signs, there were quite a few of you who had earth-based signs, particularly Taurus, which was very, very interesting and not surprising, because this is a community for healers, and healers naturally work with the magic of the earth. So I wouldn't think and know that to be true. So let's go through the three earth signs. So first of all, Taurus. So if you have significant Taurus in your chart, you're going to want to bring beauty into your work. You're going to want to bring that in visually, in a feeling sense, just all of it, tasting it, feeling it, everything is going to be really, really important to you. So just know that for yourself and honor it. Being intimate as well. So offering programs or treatments or whatever it is that you do that kind of like really connect in intimate ways with people, again, would be very key for you. As opposed to like the air signs that tend to be a little bit more detached. So this is not to say that earth signs can't work with online businesses, because they absolutely can, but it's just that you would need to find those ways to connect in more deeply. And of course, using video and live stream would be an excellent way to do that. So Virgo earth sign. So if you have significant Virgo, you need, maybe that's not the right word, Virgos would feel very uncomfortable if they didn't have some kind of ceremony and ritual connected to their businesses. So rhythms and cycles, patterns, timings, these are all things that come very, very naturally to Virgo types. So you're also very organized, practical people, and you're here to be of sacred service, whereas Pisces is also here to be of service. But they're more of just, I'm going to give, I'm going to love, I'm going to be compassionate. Virgo is more about, let's look at the lunar cycles, let's look at the seasons, let's look at the turning of the wheel. And Virgos work in that sort of sense. So if you have significant Virgo, it might be very interesting for you to bring into your healing business some kind of sense of how life turns, and how the seasons turn, and how the moons turn, and just bringing that ceremony and ritual into your business. And finally, for the earth signs, we have Capricorn. So Capricorn is probably the most grounded, structured sign. So if you have significant Capricorn, you're going to be very good at bringing through structure and form. You're going to be pretty practical. You're going to be very goal orientated as well. So you're going to work very, very well. So if you have significant practical Capricorn, make sure that you are setting goals and that you are spending time. I do this at New Moon through the Manifesting with the Moon programs that I run, and anybody that takes part in any of my programs gets access to this. We set goals together and then we look at how we can do that step by step. So if you're Capricorn, you are a great person to bring through that structure and form. So you will need to make sure so that you're honoring your gifts, that you have that structure of form coming through in your business. So if we think of, I have a reasonably significant Capricorn in my business, and what it helps me do, because I'm an Aquarian, I have a lot of Aquarius energy, which is a lot out there energy, but the Capricorn energy allows me to bring it into a website, into membership platforms. It allows me to sort of contain it so that the more etheric energy can actually come through and manifest itself so it can be passed on to others. So that's just an example of Capricorn energy and how it can work if we're working online. Okay, so finally, let's come to the air signs, air archetypes. So they are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So let's first of all give an overview of the air signs. So it's the least grounded of all the signs, literally, because it's air and it's invisible. So the air sign is very much about the mental realm, very good with ideas. So literally bringing things from the invisible into form. It has to start out there in the invisible. All healers know that. And then it becomes denser and denser and denser until it comes into form. Well, the people with the air element hold that energy as it seeds, and then they need to find ways to bring it into form. So air signs hold the big picture. So they are more detached beings. That is their gift. I have a lot of air. So just naturally, I'm somebody who is more detached, because it's one of my gifts to hold space, to see bigger pictures, and to literally just hold the energy, while more other astrology or other parts of myself or other parts of my business actually take care of the detail. Air signs are also love to communicate, and also just bringing through that teaching aspect is very key for them. It's also the element of vibration. So it's no surprise that I work with flower essences. So for all of you out there who work with essences, sound, crystals, Reiki, angelic healing, lots of you here doing all those sorts of things. It's the archetype of the invisible realm. So it's perfect as an air sign because it's in the invisible realm, and it's our job, if we have significant air, to find ways to allow people to connect, because we know that energy's there and we need to help others understand how it works. So again, it's no surprises really that by my embracing my flower essence self, that it was one of the biggest contributors to actually kickstarting my business and allowing it to work for me. So let's look at the 3 different signs. Gemini. So Gemini, if you have significant Gemini, you're going to want change. Staying in sort of samey energy is not going to work for you. You love to experience things. You're pretty much a social being, so you love connecting. Geminis are natural networkers. So whether you're networking online or on person, it's really important for you to have that social interaction. So if you have significant Gemini, make sure you build that in to your business. You're very creative, you're good at writing, you're good at speaking. So you're going to be really good at imparting this airtight material through writing, speaking, or through your own form of creativity, whatever that might be. Libra, and I know there were a couple of people in the comments when I talked about this earlier in the week who were like, okay, so I'm Libra, so how would this help me in my business? So hopefully this will be helpful for you. So Librans are all about balance. If you have significant Libran energy, then you are one of the mediators. So you're kind of like the bridge between the 2 worlds. So I have some fairly significant Libran energy in my chart. So, and some of you may know that I work very much with the idea of, you know, the birds, the cranes that fly in this formation. Well, they are wonderful examples of Libra energy because they work together. Libran energy wouldn't do too well working on its own because it's very relationship oriented and it wants everybody to be equal and everybody to be working together. Having too much separation would be very uncomfortable for a Libran. So we are, as the divine feminine grounds more and more and more through us nowadays, we're going to really, really want to embrace this Libran energy. It is a big aspect, whether or not you have Libran energy that's key for you in your archetypes. We're all going to want to embrace this. So really allowing this through for all of us is key. So working together, which is why the Sacred Rising community wanted to be birthed, particularly with my significant Libra, is that we need to do this together. The time of the Lone Ranger is over. So if you have significant Libra, or if it resonates for you, please make sure that you are safely supported. So Louise says your midheaven is in Libra. So yes, so for you, Louise, it's going to be any way that you make money, any way that's going to turn the cogs of your business in bigger ways, which is what you want, is going to need to embrace this idea of collaboration. So for those of you who are questioning how your Libran energies could help you, that's it. Collaborate. Make sure that everything is inclusive. And finally, I've left myself to last, which is interesting. So the Aquarian energies. So I have a lot of Aquarius in my charts. So the Aquarians are the innovators of the world, basically. They bring in pretty radical ideas. So you'll find Aquarians doing things that haven't been done before. Not in terms of running marathons, but in terms of bringing through new ideas. We all know about the age of Aquarius. So it's about new ideas. It's about unconventional things. So no surprises there that I guess one of my quests, and this is ongoing, is how do you take the notion of flower essences as an example and turn this into, you know, a worldwide academy of people all learning about this. I mean, how do we do this? But we're lucky nowadays that we have the technology that allows us to do this. Aquarians are also the lovers of the invisible world. So if you, like myself, have significant Aquarius, then you are definitely going to be somebody who loves and embraces the Divic energies, because that's where we belong. So again, no surprises that my Aquarian self found her healing through the Devic Kingdom. So yeah, Aquarians are here to make the world a better place. So if you share that energy with me, just embrace your maybe slightly quirky things that maybe people haven't heard too much of before. Just embrace it. Be that person that brings in the new, because it's what you were here to do. Okay, so I think I'm done here. So I really, really hope this has been helpful for you. I'm planning to run some pre-trainings for you in this community. So let's just keep talking, and I'd love to learn more about you. If you know have any healer friends or colleagues, or if you know of anybody who would benefit from being in this group, then please do let me know. If you have loved what I have spoken about today, and if you are ready or think you might be ready to take your business forward, then please just get in touch. Just say, yes, Sarah, please, I'd love to have a chat with you, or similar in the comments. And I'd be very, very happy to see if anything that I do could support you in a very safe, non-pushy place. It's not what my energy's about at all, but I'd love to know if I could support you. So just let me know via the comments, and I'll pop up a link as well in the comments as to how you could do this. Okay, so I'd love to hear. I know I'm doing this at a little bit of a strange time of day, but as you listen to the replay, I'd love to hear how this has landed with you. And yeah, just share. Okay, so until next time, blessings to you. Bye-bye.